Google Earth lets you explore the world from your screen, but some places are off limits. A blacked out section in Antarctica, an island that disappeared from maps, and a massive pentagram in Kazakhstan. What do they have in common? They were all mysteriously erased. These are hidden places on Google Earth that were suddenly erased. Antarctica is one of the most remote places on Earth, but that hasn't stopped Google Earth users from spotting some strange things on the icy continent. One of the biggest mysteries is a large blacked out region near the South Pole. If you try to zoom in, it's completely censored and no one seems to have a solid explanation for why. But because it's Antarctica and people get pretty creative when it comes to things like this, some believe the area is censored because it could be hiding an entrance to an underground base of some kind, possibly even connected to the rumored Third Reich Antarctic hideouts from World War II. Others think it might be covering up ancient ruins buried beneath the ice, evidence of some long-lost civilization. But the fact is, with so much of the continent unexplored, anything could be hiding under that blacked-out section. If it was just a natural feature, why censor it though? Until someone gets there and proves otherwise, people will just keep speculating about what might be hidden under the ice and why we're not allowed to see it. Imagine an island big enough to be marked on maps for over a century only to be completely erased in modern times. That's what happened with Sandy Island, a landmass that supposedly sat between Australia and New Caledonia. It appeared on maps as early as the 19th century and was even recorded by sailors who claimed to have seen it. But in 2012, when a research team went to find it, they discovered nothing, just open ocean. Google Earth, which had previously shown Sandy Island, suddenly removed it without explanation. The official story is that it was a cartography error, a mistake that somehow persisted for over 100 years, but some people aren't so convinced. Was the island real and deliberately wiped from history? Some believe it may have been used for secret military testing. Others think it was a cover for something even more mysterious. Either way, an entire island disappeared from Google Earth and no one really knows why. If you open Google Earth and zoom in on northern Kazakhstan, you'll find something strange. A massive pentagram carved into the ground. It's found near an abandoned Soviet-era town and measures about 1,200 feet in diameter. For years, conspiracy theorists have debated what it could mean. Some think it's linked to secret occult practices, others believe it might be a remnant of a Cold War military project. Part of what makes this formation so strange isn't just that it's in the shape of, a pentagram, it's that for a time, it was mysteriously blurred on Google Earth, as if someone didn't want people looking at it too closely. Officially, the symbol is just the outline of an old park, designed in a star shape, but that hasn't stopped people from speculating. The pentagram is often associated with mysterious, secretive societies, and given the Soviet Union's history of secrecy, who's to say there isn't more to the story? Greenland might be known for its glaciers, but it's also home to one of the most mysterious disappearances on Google Earth. A US military base, which had been visible for years, was suddenly blurred out. The base in question is believed to be part of a Cold War era operation, possibly even connected to Project Iceworm, an attempt to build a network of nuclear missile launch sites under the ice. While the official story is that the project was abandoned, some believe secret underground facilities still exist. Why else would the location be censored? Some think the base is still active and being used for classified research, possibly even involving advanced technology or extraterrestrial studies. If that sounds far-fetched, well, consider this. Greenland is a strategic location for military operations, and the US still has a presence there. So it's very possible that whatever's happening at that base, someone doesn't want us seeing it.
At number 5 is the pentagram in Kazakhstan. Here's a weird thing spotted in Google Street View. A giant pentagram just sitting in a field in Kazakhstan. Yeah, you heard that right. This massive 5-pointed star with a circle around it, carved into the earth, spanning about 1,200 feet across. Like something out of a mystery novel or a supernatural flick. People on the internet lost their minds over this finding, thinking it concealed dark stuff like devil worship or secret cults, but apparently the story behind it isn't that sinister. As it turns out, it's actually just so happens to be a park that's shaped like a star. The lines of the star are made of roads, and over time trees got planted along these roads, making the star pattern pop up even more in aerial shots. So the spooky pentagram that seemed all mysterious and hidden, just a misunderstood park design. Or so the authorities claim, but let's be real, y'all. Can they really be trusted?
At number 4, we have clowns. So clowns, not favored by some folks. I think most folks don't favor them, to be honest. They have kind of an uncanny valley vibe about them that makes a lot of folks uneasy. At least you usually know where clowns are gonna pop up, so you can avoid them if they're just not your cup of tea. I say usually though, because clowns have been known to show up in places where they shouldn't, and one of these places is apparently in Google Street View, where there are no visible carnivals, birthday parties, or other clown-related events taking place. Take this image of a clown brandishing a knife while staring straight into the camera, or how about this image? It looks to be the infamous Pennywise the Clown lurking in a storm drain. Ah, Pennywise, you weird man.
Looting holes in Syria. In Syria, the civil war caused serious damage to historical places. This Apamea, an ancient Roman city, got hit really hard. If you check Google Earth, you'll see something odd, as this place looked like it got poked with a ton of holes. By nature, some natural accident? No, they're from looters. People dug up these holes in this cool ancient city. Now, Emma Cunliffe, an archaeology smarty pants from Durham University in England, talked about it, saying that it looked like the surface of the moon, but instead of craters, it's these holes that people made. In just 8 months, these sneaky looters dug up more area than all the legit excavations combined. Satellite images spilled the beans on this secret digging party, and sadly, this is just one of the many places wrecked by the war in Syria. It's a real bummer seeing history getting messed up like that.
In its second place, we have the giant pink bunny. In Italy, an incredibly peculiar sighting on Google Maps was spotted, a massive pink stuffed bunny lying in a field. The giant bunny was around 200 feet long, laying in a field in the northern part of Italy, near the town of Prato. Suffice to say, people were pretty baffled. What was this bunny used for? Where did it come from? Why was it hanging out in the middle of nowhere? No one had a clue. It was this crazy mystery, and for a while, this bunny kind of became a local celeb. Folks from all around flocked to check it out. They'd sit on it and take pictures beside it. But one day, it was just gone. And everyone started crying to the heavens, pleading with whatever otherworldly force they believed in to bring the bunny back. But till this day, the pink rabbit has not made another appearance, and it may never. Sorry to disappoint.
Even more morbid, abandoned launch sites at Ahua Defense Area in Hawaii. Ever hear of the Ahua Defense Area in Hawaii? Probably not. It's got some pretty cool history that might surprise you. See, back in the late 1950s and 1970s, this place was home to Nike missiles. No, not the shoes. These were supersonic missiles designed for air defense during the Cold War era. They were like high-tech protectors ready to launch and defend against potential threats. Picture this, open-air launch sites with some powerful missiles just waiting for action. Some of these missiles even had nuclear warheads. But as technology advanced, these Nike missiles, I love saying that, became outdated, replaced by bigger, better intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now this dude named David, a map expert, is on a mission to hunt down is on a mission to document these abandoned missile sites. He wants to create a detailed database on Google Earth so that everybody can check out these spots from the past. The Ahua Defense Area from 1968 is one of those spots. It's a snapshot frozen in time, showing how these missile launch sites were set up back in the day.
Starting at number 10 with the man in the trunk. So I think this image here pretty much sums up the word mystery, just like what in God's name is going on here. The two questions that kind of jump out to you here is one, why is there a man in the trunk of a car? And two, why is he At least I imagine that's what you think looking at this image at first. I have a hard time imagining people's eyes don't immediately land on a dude in the trunk. However, as you scan around the picture further and attempt to piece this whole thing together, there are a number of other questions that come to mind. What is the mess laying next to the car? What's in the jug next to the car? Is that dog just laying down, or is it dead? And if it's not dead, then why does it not seem bothered by the nude dude climbing out of the car? There's really a lot going on in this image, and if I happen to catch myself on Google in this state, I'd probably not want the picture going public either.
At number 9 is this unexcavated pyramid in Egypt. Google Earth captured a peculiar image in Egypt that stirred up quite the debate. A mysterious formation that some people think might be an unexcavated pyramid. Yeah, you heard that right. A potential pyramid hiding in plain sight. Now here's the deal, there have been a ton of these strange findings in Egypt using Google Earth recently, but here's where it gets interesting. Experts aren't entirely sure if these anomalies are natural rock formations or actual human-made structures. The thing is, we need more digging, pun intended, to know for sure, but there's a snag. You see, Egypt's not all smooth sailing when it comes to security and money stuff, which makes it tricky to carry out big excavations. So for now, this supposed unexcavated pyramid remains a mystery. Is it a hidden treasure or just nature playing tricks on us? Well, only time and more exploration will spill the beans.
At number 8, we have the army of scarecrows. So imagine, if you will, being lost in rural Finland. You're stumbling around at night, trudging through the woods, until you finally happen across a road. You're incredibly relieved. And then you notice something. Cast in the moonlight are the shapes of human figures. You call out to them for help, only to realize that for one, they're not responding to you, and two, they haven't moved a muscle. Then you come to the alarming realization you're staring at an army of scarecrows. I don't know about you, but there may be part of me that would think I just walked into the Twilight Zone or something. So at first glance, these Google Street View images in Finland may seem like a whole bunch of people standing in a field, staring at the road as the Google van drives by, snapping pictures, which would be incredibly creepy on its own. It turns out though, these are all scarecrows. Still very creepy. I mean, scarecrows always have a bit of an eerie vibe about them, don't they? Even a whole army now of them? Even worse. The main question here is why? Who needs this many scarecrows? Is this field just being overrun with crows? And if so, is an army of scarecrows the answer to that situation? There's like no room for any crops, which is the whole point in having scarecrows in the first place. These images just give me cult vibes. It's very midsummer, and I don't like it.
At number 7 is the boneyard at Davis Mountain Air Force Base in Arizona. Ever hear of the Davis Mountain Air Force Base in Arizona? Probably not. It's this huge parking lot for old military planes. Imagine this, there's a massive space covering 2,600 acres filled with planes that the military has flown since way back in WW2. It's a lot of history just sitting there. It's called the boneyard and it's closed off to regular folks, but Google Earth managed to snap some pretty sharp pictures of it. You can almost see every type of plane just sitting there rusting away, like a real life museum, but not the type that you can visit. Oh, and fun fact, Tom Petty's Learning to Fly music video was actually shot in this boneyard. So these old planes might have made it onto the spotlight, but unless your name is Tom Petty, I don't think the authorities will be letting you check this place out anytime soon, so feel free to enjoy it from the convenience of Google Maps. Or can we try to rush it like Area 51 again? I mean, that went well, right?
Number 6, the submerged car. So this is actually a case where Google Maps proved useful in solving a missing persons case. It's not a happy ending, but it did provide closure to families and friends. In 2019, a submerged car was spotted in a pond on Google Maps in Wellington, Florida. The vehicle was visible in the satellite imagery, leading to the discovery of a missing persons case. The car belonged to a man named William Molt, who went missing in 1997. So this case was over 20 years old. The discovery was made by a resident who was using Google Earth to survey the area, but they spotted something off. The satellite images showed what looked to be a car submerged in a pond behind a housing development. Authorities were of course alerted, and yeah, they found a car. The vehicle matched the description of William Molt's missing 1994 Saturn SL, and inside said car was the skeletal remains of William Molt. Deep in the Siberian wilderness, there's a location on Google Earth that's been completely blurred out, a massive blacked out area, and nobody knows exactly what's there. Some researchers believe it could be a secret military city, one of the many closed cities that Russia has kept hidden since the Cold War. These cities were used for nuclear research, weapons testing, and other classified operations, and many of them still exist today. Others think it could be a hidden underground facility, possibly even related to Russia's rumored dead hand system, an automated nuclear radiation program. If that's the case, it makes sense why they wouldn't want anyone getting a good look at it. The Russian government has never officially acknowledged what's there, and Google won't say why it's censored, so whatever's in that blacked out zone, it's something they really don't want the world to see. Alright, this one's weird because it's not some top secret military base, it's just a giant radio telescope in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia. The Green Bank telescope is the largest fully steerable radio telescope in the world, and it's smack in the middle of the National national radio quiet zone, a place where Wi-Fi, cell signals, and even regular radios are heavily restricted. It's supposed to be a peaceful place for astronomers to listen to deep space without interference, but here's the thing. On some versions of Google Earth, the site has been blurred or pixelated, which makes no sense. Why would a telescope need to be censored? Well, officially it's because the site is ultra sensitive to electromagnetic waves, so maybe they don't want any interference from satellites. Makes sense, but some people think there may be something more going on here. The telescope is involved in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, scanning the sky for alien signals. If they actually picked up something classified, you can bet the government wouldn't want people digging around. Others believe there's something underground here, maybe a secret intelligence facility, maybe something even stranger. Either way, the fact that Google Earth messes with the imagery of this place only makes it more suspicious. The Faroe Islands are a bunch of rocky islands in the North Atlantic, known for their dramatic cliffs, Viking history, and, well, not much else, to be honest. But for years, parts of these islands were basically scrubbed from Google Earth. Instead of clear satellite images, certain areas were either pixelated, missing, or stuck with super outdated photos that made it look like Google was actively avoiding showing the place. Now, these islands don't have top secret bases or major military installations, at least none that we know about, so why censor them? Well, some people think it may have to do with the undersea internet cables, massive data highways that connect continents. A lot of these cables run through this region, and messing with them could mean messing with global communications, which intelligence agencies would definitely want to keep under wraps. Others think there might be some Cold War era surveillance sites still in use, hidden away in the mountains. Of course, Google could just say, hey, we don't want to update the images, but that excuse doesn't hold up when way less important places get regular updates. Some locals even started questioning whether something was going on right under their noses. Eventually, some better images made their way onto Google Earth, but for a long time, this place was basically a digital blind spot. And when places randomly disappear like that, people are gonna start asking questions. Mururoa Atoll is just a tiny island in the Pacific, but it has a pretty dark history. From the 60s to the 90s, France used it as a nuclear testing site, setting off over 180 explosives, a lot of them underground. These tests caused massive environmental damage, and some say they left the island at risk of literally collapsing into the ocean. People from nearby islands have reported weird illnesses, birth defects, and skyrocketing cancer rates. And here's where things get even stranger. If you look at the place on Google Earth, parts of it look weirdly distorted, washed out, or just flat out unclear. And why is that? Well, one theory is that there's still a secret military base on the island, and France wants to keep it hidden. Another theory is that they just don't want people seeing the long-term destruction caused by the nuclear tests. And then there's the possibility that the atoll is structurally unstable. Some scientists have even warned that if parts of it collapse, it could trigger a massive tsunami. Now, this isn't just exaggeration. Journalists have been blocked from visiting, and there's barely any recent footage of the place. So are they hiding something underground? Is the island more dangerous than they're admitting? Janette Island is a tiny frozen chunk of land in the Arctic Ocean, owned by Russia. It's one of those places that barely anyone's set foot on, and on paper, that's not surprising. It's just a giant rock of ice. Except at one point, Janette Island completely vanished from Google Earth. Not blurred, not pixelated, it was just completely gone. If you searched for it, all you'd see was open ocean where the island was supposed to be. Why erase an uninhabited piece of ice? That's a very good question. Some think it's because Russia is using it for something secret. The Arctic is a huge deal for military strategy and natural resources, and Russia has been ramping up its presence there. Could they be testing new weapons, running some kind of classified research? Are there hidden structures beneath the ice? Janette Island isn't the only one that's mysteriously disappeared from Google Earth. Other small Arctic islands have briefly gone missing from the maps over the years, only to reappear later with no explanation. Was it a glitch, or was something being hidden for a reason? Nobody knows for sure.
Starting us off at number 10, we have Janette Island. Located somewhere in the East Siberian Sea, this mysterious tiny island measures just 1.2 miles in length, and according to the powers that be, we are not supposed to know about it. From what we can tell, it's mainly covered in ice, so it's highly unlikely that there's any kind of civilization there. So the million-dollar question is, what are they hiding? Apparently there have been some issues about who the island legally belongs to, with disputes between the US and Russia over the years, which has led some to believe it could be some kind of top secret military base or something. But whatever it is, it's blurred out on Google Maps and no one is allowed to visit. Next up at number 9, Patio de los Norengos. Located in the gorgeous coastal city of Almeria in Spain, something about this place doesn't add up, and it's being kept a secret from the world. What's strange about this location in particular is that Patio de los Norengos translates to orange tree courtyard, which, if that were true, why on earth would we not be able to visit it? So it begs the question, what lies beneath that blurred out square on Google Maps, and what could be so dangerous about it that we aren't even allowed to see it virtually, let alone in person? Maybe it's a government building, or maybe it's a top secret military base, but whatever it is, they are not keen on anyone knowing what is going on, which to me seems very suspicious. Coming in at number 8, Amchitka Island. Once home to the Aleut people for over 2,500 years, Amchitka Island has had no permanent population since 1832. In 1836, when the United States purchased Alaska, they gained control of the territory, and it's likely this purchase had something to do with the declining population. But that's not all. During the 50s, 60s, and 70s, it became the largest underground nuclear testing site and was controversial even then, in fear that the test could cause severe environmental impacts and desolate the land. Currently it's under observation for radioactive leakage, and so it has been blurred out from Google Maps to keep visitors far, far away. Coming in at number 7, a Russian warehouse. Deep in an unnamed forest in Russia lies a strange building that no one is permitted to see. Already it sounds like the start of a spy movie. From ground level, it's likely all you would see is the double high fencing that surrounds the mysterious warehouses, but from a bird's eye view, you can see it all. But just because we can see it on Google does not mean they want us to know what's in there. I mean, generally when you put a giant strange building in the middle of nowhere surrounded by a huge fence, you are trying to keep something a secret. Although no one knows exactly what this strange mile-long warehouse is, many suspect it to be some kind of military storage facility, possibly even storing explosives. So if that is the case, it would make sense why they put it in the middle of nowhere and why no one is permitted to visit. Coming in at number 6, underwater pyramids. Located in the Bahamas, this photo found in Google Maps has left many thinking that they discovered underwater pyramids. Now, I know, this is a full conspiracy theory, but I mean I had to add it because it's too entertaining to leave out. Some believe it's proof of Atlantis or aliens themselves, while others have deduced it could have been built by an ancient civilization. The mysterious structure is estimated to measure between 3.5 to 11 miles across based on the photos, although no one knows for sure as you can't get to the structure to see for yourself. If it is in fact what many believe it to be, it would be bigger than any pyramid ever built. But seeing as though no one can visit them, it might be a long while before we know if these pyramids prove any kind of extraterrestrial involvement on Earth.
We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the old lady. The photo of this woman spotted on Google went viral after being posted on Reddit, and that's because of what she appears to be holding in her hands. So this woman was spotted standing on the corner of a street somewhere in Bulgaria. In her right hand, she appears to be holding a small axe. To make matters creepier, it appears as if she's trying to hide the weapon from the Google car passing by. And in some shots, Google actually blurred both her face and her hand and the axe. And we literally don't know why. Maybe she's just an innocent old lady borrowing an axe from her neighbor. Or maybe she's a cold-blooded killer and that's her weapon of choice. Moving on at number 4, we have the buried bodies. This Google Earth image seems to have captured a scene. You can see 2 open graves with 2 men placed inside of them. They are laying face up with a mound of dirt beside them, showing that they had just been recently buried. Now, when people came across this site, they literally freaked out, thinking that they just saw 2 bodies. Alas, that is not the case. After investigating, it turns out that this is just a symbolic piece of art, and the artist didn't even mean for it to be caught on Google Earth. It just so happened to catch that. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and that's not an actual image of real dead people. In our third spot, we have the pigeon people. Imagine you're out for a stroll one day when you come across a group of human-pigeon hybrids. What would you do? Well, why do I ask this? If you scroll down a street in Musashino, Tokyo, you'll find a group of humans wearing creepy pigeon masks. This particular photo was taken on March 2013 and features 8 people staring directly at Google's cameraman. Now, I have many questions, the first being why, the second being why, and the third being why wasn't I invited? In all seriousness, it probably was done as a joke, but still, it makes for a really creepy and surprising encounter. In our second spot, we have the strange symbols. What you see here is a top secret bunker for the Church of Scientology. They call it their alien space cathedral. Basically, they say that this bunker is the place where members can travel to in the future from other places in the universe. Now, you see those weird symbols on the ground? Those symbols were thought to be done by the works of aliens, and they apparently mark a return point for reincarnation. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Town of Dolls. Now, this one might be the strangest and creepiest one yet. If you're ever in for a good scare, then look up Nagoro. It's a town in Japan that has more dolls living there than humans. Yes, you heard me. So this town has 385 residents. Only 35 of them are living. The rest are human-sized dolls. These dolls are made by a Japanese artist and resident there. She created these dolls to replace the people that once lived there who have either passed away or left this isolated town. Therefore, whenever someone leaves or passes away, this artist will just create a new doll for them. These dolls can be found all throughout town doing an activity or being in a place that best represents the person. It's kind of sweet, but also very creepy.
Number 10. HAARP Site. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, aka HAARP, is a University of Alaska Fairbanks program which researches the ionosphere, the highest ionized part of Earth's atmosphere. It is currently among the most controversial operations being carried out in the US and forms the base for a number of conspiracy theories. Various individuals have speculated about hidden motivations and capabilities of the project. For example, Rosalie Bertell warned in 1996 about the deployment of HAARP as a military weapon. Michael Chasudovsky stated in a book published by the Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform that the recent scientific evidence suggests that HAARP is fully operational and has the capability of triggering floods, hurricanes, droughts, and earthquakes. Over time, HAARP has been blamed for generating such catastrophes as well as thunderstorms in Iran, Pakistan, Haiti, Turkey, Greece, and the Philippines, and even major power outages, the downing of TWA Flight 800, Gulf War Syndrome, and chronic fatigue syndrome. And the fact that this place is blurred out on Google Maps, I think they're guilty. Number 9. North Korea. Until February 2013, North Korea existed as a blurred blotch on Google Maps with just its capital city, Pyongyang, marked on it. Today, you can see it on the map, but you can't see it on Street View. Why can't we see anything? Well, this is due to their dictator Kim Jong-un's rule. It's been said that they have many secret missile bases and they have some nuclear facilities. There's also Kanjong-dong, better known as Propaganda Village. It's North Korea's end of the DMZ and has a grand total of 200 people living in it. Well, that's if you believe the North Korean government. In reality, there are absolutely no residents. Zero. It's completely empty. The village was designed to show off the virtues of North Korean lifestyle to South Korean villages in view and lead to defection. You can see it from South Korea, but not on Google Maps. And one of the biggest atrocities in North Korea are their prison camps. A former guard likened the prisoners to walking skeletons, dwarfs, and cripples in rags. He estimated about 30% of prisoners had deformities such as torn off ears, smashed eyes, crooked noses, and faces covered with cuts and scars, resulting from beatings and other mistreatment, and that these people were still forced to work. They had to do hard physical labor in agriculture, mining, and inside factories from 5 AM to 8 PM, followed by ideological re-education and self-criticism sessions. The prisoners are forced to sleep in a room with 80 to 90 people in 30 square meter flea-infested rooms, are only occasionally allowed to use the toilet, one for about every 300 people, and may only take a shower after several months. No wonder Kim doesn't want us to see any of this, because they're major crimes against humanity. Number 8.
Babylon. Once on the list of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, a predominant part of the Holy Bible, Babylon, Iraq now appears on Google Maps as an unending farmland. The vast history behind the city makes it stand out as one of the greatest cities in Iraq, and many find it to be disrespectful that Google Maps would blur out such a city. Many people speculate that is the history itself that is the reason why parts of Babylon are censored. Not all of the history has been uncovered from this ancient city, and the censorship could deter people from exploring the area and finding things for themselves, but I feel like this would make me want to explore it more. Number 7. Israel. When you first start looking at Israel in satellite view, everything looks fine, but zoom in and you'll notice that things get blurry quickly. In fact, all of Israel is shown in low resolution by all US-based mapping services due to the Kyla Bingaman Amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act of 1997. Entitled Prohibition on Collection and Release of Detailed Satellite Imagery Relating to Israel, the amendment requires the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, Commercial Remote Sensing Regulatory Affairs Agency to regulate the distribution of zoomed images of Israel. While the review of the Kyla-Bingaman Amendment is said to be taking place, many images of Israel remain blurry. Number 6. Washington-Oregon border. If you hover over the Washington and Oregon border in the northwestern part of the US, you may find a small black box along the border. This seems like a strange place to censor, and as soon as this came out, people began speculating. One of the most popular reasons to be rumored was the involvement of the FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and was thought to be a base of theirs. However, people have traveled to the area in real life and found nothing but the empty terrain in the area. So, why is it blocked out? No one really knows.
Coming in at number 5, Sandy Island. Also known as the Phantom Island, this peculiar location was first discovered by the famous British explorer Captain James Cook in 1774. Now, what's crazy about Sandy Island is that it was documented on maps, globes, and even nautical charts for 238 years. But now if you go to Google Maps, you will see no such island. The reason being that in 1979, it was quite literally undiscovered, as no landmass existed there, but even so it remained on Google Maps until 2012. This seemingly conflicting information made many wonder if there was something that we weren't being told about this strange island, or non-island, and some conspiracy theorists even believe that it is truly there and that we are being lied to. I mean, it isn't every day that something is undiscovered, so it does make sense to wonder if there is something going on behind the scenes, but I guess we will never know for sure. Coming in at number 4, Erasure La Hague. Fully pixelated out on Google Maps, this recycling plant has a very strict no visitors policy, which is likely why you are not able to see the entirety of the complex. You might be asking, a recycling plant, what's so bad about that I'm not allowed to visit? Well, it's not just any old recycling place for beer bottles and juice boxes. The Erasure La Hague is a recycling plant for nuclear fuel. So as you can imagine, it is an extremely hazardous place littered with nuclear waste, and so for those very obvious reasons, Google Maps keeps it blurred out to keep visitors from trying to figure out how to get there. Coming in at number 3, the GROM headquarters. If you have ever Googled Warsaw in Poland, you may or may not have come across a strange group of buildings that look like mysterious blobs compared to the rest of the city around it. Well, as it turns out, this is no accident. Those buildings are GROM, or GROM, I'm not totally sure, headquarters, which is essentially Poland's Special Forces building. All I can find out about this top secret group is that they rescued CIA agents from a mission gone wrong in Desert Storm back in 1991. And whatever else they're up to, they do not want you to know about. Which, I mean, I guess is kind of the point. So as much as I am sure many of us would like to know what goes on in this super secret Polish spy headquarters, I'm afraid that information is highly classified, and their exact location will continue to remain a secret from the public. Coming in at number 2, a massive pentagram. Somewhere in the outskirts of Kazakhstan lies a dark symbol that has literally been carved into the earth. Although you might not be able to fully see the entire symbol at ground level, from above, the stark pentagram is clear as day. Conspiracy theorists have linked the cliffside pentagram to the Freemasons and Wiccans, stating saying that it is a site of animal sacrifice and satanic ritual, although this has never actually been confirmed. Still, the exact location of the pentagram is difficult to track down, and though not necessarily illegal to visit, I would definitely stay far away from anywhere rumored to be the site of a satanic ritual. And last up, in our number 1 spot today, we have a UFO crash site. Whether you tend to believe in aliens or not, this one is pretty freaking wild. From what you can see on Google Maps, it appears that a flying saucer crashed in the plains of South Africa. Around the UFO is a well-worn dirt path, which has led some to believe that aliens themselves could be hiding out there, as no one has visited the site since it was discovered, and how else would a dirt path have been formed if not by someone or something walking around the area? The top appears to be metallic from the area shot, which is unlike any rooftops on other buildings in the area, and many conspiracy theorists are convinced it's a UFO. No one has seen the site to know for sure, or at least no one has returned to tell the tale.
Starting off this countdown, we have Snow Saddle. Snow Saddle is a major mountain peak of the Himalayas in Nepal. But if you try to view it from Google Earth, you'll see that the whole area is blacked out, which is obviously suspicious. Why is a mountain peak blurred? What's going on there that has Google blurring it? To this day, no one knows for sure. But of course, there are a number of theories. One theory is that the had secret expeditions to the Himalayas and found a UFO base in that area. Sounds crazy, right? Well, there have been a number of UFO sightings in that area, so maybe it is a top secret UFO base. Who knows? We don't know. Moving on to number 9, we have Baker Lake. Located in Nunavut, Canada, Google Earth is letting you see none of it. Get it? Like none of it? Sorry, I love my puns. So if you look it up on Google Maps, it's weird because you see just a black strip covering a large area near the lake. What's it blocking? Again, we don't know for sure, but we have some crazy conspiracies. One theory is that the strip is concealing extraterrestrial beacons that help the navigation of the crafts, or that it's a craft landing strip. I don't know. They also say that this area would be perfect for the beacons since snow creates a powerful electromagnetic field that helps send a better signal. What do you think though? Let me know in the comments below. In our 8th spot, we have the Pacific Northwest Blur. Here is a view of the area close to the Washington-Oregon border. And would you look at that? There's a random patch blacked out. To this day, no one knows what that is. But something is there that Google doesn't want us to see. In fact, some people believe that it is a HAARP site, or HAARP. HAARP is said to be a military program that weaponizes weather and causes natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, droughts, you get it. Now, some people have actually traveled to that area to see what's up, but unfortunately haven't been able to find anything. Kinda suspicious. Like, what does Google know that we don't know? A whole lot, that's what. In our 7th spot, we have 2207 Seymour Avenue. This is the address to a home located in Cleveland, Ohio. A home in which a horrific crime took place. A crime that people don't like to talk about. From 2002 to 2004, Adriel Castro kidnapped 3 young women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Georgina De Jesus. He kept them captive in his home until 2013, when Amanda Berry escaped with her daughter and contacted the police. Police came to his house and rescued the other women. This house has since been blurred on Google Maps due to the horrific crimes that took place inside. In fact, it was given the name the House of Horrors. But in 2013, it was actually demolished to help the victims move on from their traumatizing past. In our 6th spot, we have Valencia City. Located in the Philippines, Valencia City is one of the largest and most populated cities in the province of Bukidnon. It's home to over 190,000 people. It's even a popular tourist spot. But if you want to find it on Google Earth, you can't. The whole city is just blurred out. This was apparently done under government orders. Valencia City is home to their government's headquarters. It's said to house a top secret missile defense program. Others say that they do missile testing there, but that hasn't been proven, so we really don't know. It's just weird that the whole city is blurred out, not just a single area.
Number 5. Elmira Correctional Facility. Okay, Google isn't trying to hide this place, but the warden is. Almeria Correctional Facility in New York is blurred because the warden of the prison put in a request for censorship with Google to censor the prison so prisoners wouldn't be able to map out escape plans. After several escapes, the warden decided that it may be the fact that prisoners are escaping by using Google Maps as a reference. So to put a stop to it, he got it blurred. Now, there are better ways to prevent breakouts like enhancing security, but who knows, maybe blurring out the prison on Google Earth has effectively stopped prison escapes since then. Doubt it though. Number 4. Marcoule Nuclear Site. The Marcoule Nuclear Site located in France has been blurred off the maps. Operational since 1956, Marcoule is a gigantic site run by the Atomic Energy Organization, Commissariat à l'Énergie Atomique, CEA, and Arriva NC. The first industrial and military plutonium experiments took place in Marcoule. Diversification of the site was started in the 1970s with the creation of the Phoenix prototype fast breeder reactor, which was operational until 2009 and is nowadays an important site for decommissioning nuclear facilities activities. Since 1995, the factory has been producing MOX from a mix of uranium and plutonium oxides. MOX is used to recycle plutonium from nuclear fuel. Unfortunately, on September 12, 2011, there was an explosion in an oven used to melt metallic waste of a weak and very weak level of radioactivity, ending the life of 1 person and injuring 4. A safety cordon was set up around the plant by fire officers because of a risk of a leakage, and because of this, it really isn't a shock that it's off the map. Number 3. House of Gazprom CEO Alexei Miller. The House of Gazprom CEO Alexei Miller in Russia is blurred. I wonder why. Well, Gazprom is a Russian majority state-owned multinational energy corporation headquartered in St. Petersburg. As of 2019, with sales over $120 billion, it was ranked as the largest publicly listed natural gas company in the world and the largest company in Russia by revenue. Repeatedly, Gazprom has been accused of being a political and economical weapon of Russia, using the supply and price of natural gas to gain control over Europe. On April 22, 2015, Gazprom was charged by the European Commission with using territorial restrictions to engage in anti-competitive behavior and using its dominant position to impose unfair prices. The company was accused of preventing competition in Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Slovakia. In June 2021, a massive methane plume over Russia resulted from the partial shutdown of a Gazprom PJSC pipeline for emergency repair. The company said the repairs, which took place on June 4th, released 2.7 million cubic meters, aka 1,830 metric tons of methane. And that's just a couple of their controversies. With environmentalists mad at Gazprom, it's no shock that the CEO wants his house location essentially wiped from the internet. Number 2. Valkuil Air Base. It's believed that since the early 1960s, USAF nuclear weapons have been stored at the Valkuil Air Base in the Netherlands to be used by the host nation's aircraft. As of 2008, 22 B-61 nuclear bombs were believed to be in storage at Valkuil. Despite the evidence for this, the Dutch Ministry of Defense never officially acknowledges or denies the presence of nuclear weapons at Valkuil. In a book published by former Air Force pilot Steve Netto, it was revealed that some 50 B-28 nuclear bombs were in storage there around the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, which, if needed, were to be deployed by aircraft of the Royal Netherlands Air Force. In a document leaked as part of the United States diplomat cables leak, the presence of nuclear weapons in the Netherlands is confirmed, though no specific location is given. On June 10, 2013, former Prime Minister Rudd Lubbers confirmed the existence of 22 nuclear weapons at the airfield. In a 2016 NATO draft report, Valkuil was mentioned as one of 6 locations where altogether approximately 150 American B-61 bombs are stored. And according to a May 2021 article from Bellingcat, many sensitive security details about the nuclear arsenal at Valkuil, such as which vaults currently had nuclear weapons in them, were inadvertently exposed when journalists discovered that the soldiers tasked with overseeing these weapons had been using publicly available flashcard websites to assist them in learning these details. And coming up at number 1 is the Snow Saddle. Kantega, better known as the Snow Saddle, is an area located in the Nepal Himalaya. A section of this mountain is blackened out by satellites. At first, many thought this area might just be a glitch in the satellite cameras. However, if you reference another satellite site in Bing search engine, the spot is pixelated out. There have been many sightings of UFOs in the area, leading many to believe that the blackened area is a base of operations for a secret government project dealing with the extraterrestrial. The alleged secret UFO base was discovered by YouTube alien and UFO hunter Mexico Geek, who uploaded the evidence to YouTube on January 28, 2016. The images have sparked lively discussion and debates on UFO forums. These areas are known in the UFO community to be UFO hotspots. Alien and UFO spotters have reported strange and suspicious phenomena in this area in the past. Reported sightings in the remote and inaccessible area include massive flying saucers and orb UFOs emerging from underground locations. The area is notorious for the strange and eerie and mysterious activity, and it's believed that it's either a UFO base in the area or a top secret military facility for alien UFO reverse engineering research projects, and that's the reason why it's blurred.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the pigeon people. Japan is the home to many wonderful things, and that includes the wacky, bizarre pigeon people of Google Earth. Yes, you heard me correctly. What looks absolutely terrifying on the surface is thankfully most likely just a strange prank, but basically it saw a group, all wearing pigeon heads, lined up on the sidewalk ready for the Google camera as it went by. It's definitely a strange sight to begin with, but it's made even weirder by the turn of their heads in order to follow the camera. Honestly, really unsettling when you first look at it. I mean, pigeons are already weird creatures, so this little prank definitely has a bit of an eerie feeling to it, but the good news is that it's likely just a fun group of students from the art school that is nearby to this weird scene found on Google Maps. In our number 9 spot today, we have the invitation. This weird Google Maps image comes to us from Memphis, Tennessee, and while I've never been, I've heard wonderful things. That is all except for this weird message that was found as someone was searching through Google Maps, and it's located on the top of the building. Someone wrote this message, and it's gotta be pretty large considering it was so easy to read even from this distance, but the message says, "Come downtown and play." I don't know what kind of Pennywise is out there writing these kinds of messages, but I know I'm not crazy, and there's something almost sinister feeling about it. It is likely some sort of marketing tactic or something of that nature. I mean, at least I hope it is, but from a distance, when it looks like it could be something that was spray painted by a random person, it just seems weird, you know? I just know I probably won't be RSVPing to this invite anytime soon. Thanks, but no thanks. In our number 8 spot today, we have the disposal. Mannequins are always creepy. I don't care. They just are. My old roommate was a hairdresser, and when she was in school, sometimes I'd go to get a glass of water in the middle of the night and be absolutely startled by the disembodied head I saw, and only after the near heart attack realize in my sleepy state that it in fact was just a mannequin head. Well, you can imagine people got a lot of the same sort of feeling when they were on Google Maps and saw this sight of all of these discarded mannequins that truly for a second looks like it's a pile of bodies sitting in the trash. How horrifying. This site was seen on Google Maps in Chile, and it definitely was freaking people out. I wonder what these mannequins were used for. I mean, there's a ton of them, so it must have been used for some sort of clothing shop or like a seamstress or something, right? Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but that's what I'm choosing to believe. In our number 7 spot today, we have friendship. This is one Google Maps sighting that doesn't have a lot of information behind it, which definitely makes it all the more eerie. Basically, this is just an image of a group of friends standing together in the desert. Maybe a little strange, but not so weird. Right? Well, yeah, except for the weird masks they're wearing and the fact that they're all staring directly at the camera. I'm sure the story behind this one is that these friends saw the Google Maps car coming and decided to play a little prank, probably similar to the pigeon people, but I mean, no one has been able to confirm this, and who keeps a bunch of scary masks on them? I mean, I guess the mission these people set out on was likely accomplished, because here we are, talking about this creepy prank. In our number 6 spot today, we have the SS Yasim wreck. The SS Yasim was a Bolivian cargo ship that sank on the evening of December 1st, 2003. For a while, no one was quite sure as to why it sank, as well as the fact that no one could find the wreck. This was honestly very strange just in general, but also especially because of the fact that the ship was quite large at 265 feet. This is exactly why it was so surprising when, a few years ago, the Google Maps team located the sunken vessel based on their satellite imaging. The ship was found on its side, perhaps in the same location it initially sank, in Wingate Reef just off of the coast of Sudan. The mystery mystery as to why the wreck was never found was realized because of the location of it. The wreck is close to an island where an uncontacted tribe lives. Of course, for the safety of both the tribe as well as outsiders who might not be welcomed, people thankfully tend to leave the island alone, but this is exactly why the wreck wasn't found for so long. This wreck then became one of the largest visible on Google Earth until quite recently.
We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Amchitka Island. Located in Alaska, sections of this island are blurred out and no one really knows why this is. But it may have to do with the nuclear testing that once took place there. From the 1950s to the 1970s, this island was the site of US underground nuclear testing. Nowadays, they are running tests to see if the island has any radioactive leakage there. If there isn't, then in 2025 it could become a wildlife reserve. But again, why is half of the island blurred out? Maybe that's the section where the nuclear testing took place. But why is it still blurred? A lot of people think that the military is doing some suspicious illegal activities there. We just don't know what. Moving on, at number 4 we have Vokel Air Base. Located in the Netherlands, we have the Vokel Air Base, which is a military air base used by the Royal Netherlands Air Force. According to former Dutch Prime Minister, there are 22 US nuclear bombs being stored in bunkers of this airspace, which is one of the many reasons as to why it appears pixelated on Google Earth. You got thermonuclear bombs, all the way to bombs that are said to be 4 times powerful as the ones used on the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, for the longest time, the place was just rumored to have nukes. It wasn't known for sure. That was until 2013 when the Prime Minister let it slip. He said, and I quote, "I would never have thought those silly things would still be there in 2013. I think they are an absolutely pointless part of a tradition in military thinking." In our 3rd spot, we have the mysterious Russian site. Located in the Siberian tundra close to the city of Egvikinot. I know I said that wrong. I literally looked up the pronunciation, but there is nothing out there, so I apologize. Egvigno, I'm so sorry. Anyways, the area is blurred out on Google Earth and no one knows why. I've been saying that a lot this video, but it's true, no one knows why. But it didn't always appear like this. At one point they had edited the satellite imagery. They cut out a section around Egvinot, that place I don't know how to say, and pasted it over whatever they wanted to blur. They thought it would make it less obvious. But apparently on Russian maps they have the area blurred with a black box. So what's going on in that area? Some say it's HAARP again, others say there's a large gold deposit in that area, so they don't want people finding that out. Others say it's a ballistic missile testing site. Coming in at number 2, we have the murder scene. Google Earth is a snitch, y'all, okay? A couple of years ago, they caught a murder on camera. It shows a dark figure standing by a body laying down on the ground by some abandoned train tracks. That's all we know. Obviously, due to it being disturbing in nature, they don't want people seeing it. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the poor donkey. Now, this has to be one of the funniest, yet saddest things caught on Google Earth/Maps. So you know how they have that van with the camera that drives along and it just snaps photos like every second in every direction? Well, while going along, it captured a donkey at the side of the road. Seconds later, if you click down the road and you turn back, the donkey's still there, just now laying on the floor. It had been hit by the Google Earth truck. It's pretty sad. Rest in peace, donkey. But that doesn't look too good on the company if they're going around and hitting and killing animals. Starting off this countdown, we have the figure in the darkness. One person was scrolling through Google Earth and Maps one day when they found this place in Florianópolis in Brazil. Nothing too unusual, right? It's just a picture of an intersection. But when you move forward more into the middle of the intersection, your whole screen will go black, and all you'll be able to see is this eerie looking figure. Now most likely, it's a glitch, hopefully. But ain't that freaky? Like it literally looks like a full-on demon or ghostly figure just standing there watching you. In our 9th spot, we have the peeing. Now this is definitely something that should have been kept a secret and something no one wanted or needed to see. Google Earth has managed to catch a number of images of people publicly peeing. The first image is of an older gentleman taking a break from biking in order to relieve himself in some bushes. Hey, I mean, no shame, okay? We've all been there. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Some other gentlemen caught tinkling are these folks. All 3 passengers on a highway had to pull over to take a bathroom break. I guess they were going on a long road trip. And then finally we have this man. This man was on a highway in the UK and pulled over to also drain his faucet. This photo was snapped in 2008 and hopefully no one was able to identify him. Now thank gosh these men were not caught, because depending where you are, there are fines for public urination. In our 8th spot we have the grow up. If you're thinking of having a secret grow up within a cornfield, maybe think again. Google Earth is spying from up above and is the biggest tattletaler. In 2009, Swiss authorities used Google Earth to find an illegal weed farm, and this led to their arrest. As you can see, the growers had their business hidden behind a cornfield. This isn't the only time police have used Google Earth in order to make drug busts though. Authorities in Oregon also used Google Earth to find more possible grow-ops. A man named Curtis Croft was arrested after Google Earth revealed he was growing 3 times as many plants as he was allowed to propagate by law for medical purposes. In our 7th spot we have the deals. An entire deal was caught by Google Maps in Chicago. They tried to be all sly about it, but not when Google Maps is around. Bam! They caught it all on camera from a bunch of different angles as well. They're not the only ones who got caught though. We got this deal on the streets of Philadelphia. You got a lady handing a man some cash, and the man holding her a little baggie of white stuff. Wonder what that could be. And lastly, we have Camden, New Jersey. Now this deal was actually found by a recovered addict. Camden has a very bad problem, and that's where he used to live. So he decided to check out the area in which he used to buy. That's when he found this transaction and actually reported it to the police. The police then tried to use the blurry images of the 2 men to track them down. In our 6th spot we have the men with the weapons. Somewhere in the suburbs of Oslo, Norway, you'll find 2 men at a gas station in army attire with one of the men wielding a gun. From afar, it doesn't look like anything is out of place, just looks like a bunch of cars and people filling up for gas. But if you zoom in, you'll see these men and then people around them staring at them like, what the hell is going on here? It's not clear why the man is carrying a gun. If he was part of the armed forces, you know, it explains the uniform, but to have a gun out in the open like that and to be waving it around, I don't know.
In our number 5 spot today we have the Gobi Desert structure. This is one discovery that I talked about recently, and it's one that had conspiracy theorists' minds absolutely swirling. About a decade ago, someone was searching through some Google Maps images when they found a mysterious array of structures and patterns that appeared to be etched into the surface of the Gobi Desert, which is located in China. The structures, as they are referred to, are kind of similar to geoglyphs, but these ones look modern and newly created, and rather than actually being carved into the ground, they're made of something. The internet of course came up with some pretty insane speculations of what these structures could be or what they might be used for, and the ideas stretched from spy satellite calibration to some sort of Illuminati affiliated product, so who really knows at this point? In our number 4 spot today we have the perpetrators. Okay, so this picture is definitely not really terrifying itself, but the story behind it certainly is. So basically, in 2011, a woman who lives in Oklahoma City was unfortunately the victim of a terrible crime. She was held at gunpoint by one man while another raided her home. I can't even imagine. That must have been so terrible and terrifying. So imagine her surprise one day when a friend of hers was on Google Maps in her neighborhood, and who does she see other than the 2 people who committed this crime against her? They were seen on the street camera hanging out apparently near her home. She of course called the police and turned the images over to them, and it is said that they are using them in the investigation. It is unclear if they were ever able to catch the perpetrators or not, but hopefully this image proved to be useful. In our number 3 spot today we have the escape artist. Listen, not everything appears as it is on the surface, but this one at best is definitely fishy. Basically, it appears as if the Google Maps camera may have caught someone as they escape prison. This photo comes from Michigan, and it was taken by Google in front of the Lenawee County Jail. Basically, in the image, you see a guy walking in a white jumpsuit with black stripes, carrying a bag on his shoulder, with the jail visible in the background. When someone initially saw this on Google Maps, they of course screenshotted it and posted it to Reddit asking people if Google caught someone as they were escaping. Honestly, we aren't exactly sure, but it is entirely possible that this inmate was just a trusted one who was on some kind of work duty where they were doing some work outside of the fence. Perhaps whoever was supervising just wasn't in the view of the Google car. Either that or this guy's the most calm escapee I've ever seen. In our number 2 spot today we have caught red-handed. In 2008, a young man in Holland was biking home when 2 men ended up ambushing him, and they stole his bike, phone, and the cash he had on him. First, authorities were having trouble finding who the 2 men were that did this to him because of a lack of evidence, but just 6 months later there was a break in the case. The boy was looking at the street view of where the incident happened, and as he explored just a little bit, he found that the Google Maps car camera had captured the moments just prior to this terrible incident. That means that the camera captured the faces of those who had stolen his belongings. He ended up calling the police, who then called Google and asked for the unblurred versions of the photos. When Google delivered them, the police realized that they were able to directly identify the pair in the photo, who were a pair of 24-year-old brothers. Who knew that Google Maps could help bring people to justice? In our number 1 spot today we have the cold case. This is one thing that was discovered on Google Maps that is really similar to a story that I covered in part 1 of this series. Basically, in 2007, someone was on Google Maps when they spotted something in a body of water that appeared to them to be a car. It turns out that they were right, and they helped the authorities solve an over 20-year-old cold case. Apparently, a man named William Molt was reported missing from Florida on November 7th, 1997. He never returned home after a night out, and police had been searching for him ever since. Once that person in 2007 brought what they found to the police, they were able to investigate and they found the missing vehicle. Inside was a body that they were finally able to identify as the missing William. It truly is a very tragic story, but at least he was finally found so that he can be returned to his loved ones and they can have some closure to the story.